The breaking point. Admiral Elena Santos stood at the viewport of Earth's orbital defense station, her weathered face reflected in the reinforced glass as she watched the Galactic Alliance's ultimatum fleet approach. 20 years of peaceful cooperation were about to end because of a carefully orchestrated lie. "They're broadcasting the final warning, Admiral," Lieutenant Chen reported from his console, voice tight with tension. Elena didn't turn from the viewport. "Let's hear it." The cool, synthesized voice of the Alliance's AI translator filled the command center. "This is High Marshal Vex Thor of the Galactic Alliance Security Council. The evidence of Earth's illegal weapons development and trafficking is irrefutable. You have 24 hours to begin evacuation of all human settlements outside your solar system. Failure to comply will result in immediate military action." Elena's jaw clenched. The evidence was nothing more than fabricated sensor data showing human ships delivering banned quantum weaponry to the Drachnid Rebellion. The truth, that it was the Alliance's own corrupt military officials supplying the weapons, would never see the light of day. Earth had become too influential, too advanced, too quickly for the comfort of certain Alliance factions. "Orders, Admiral," Chen asked. Elena finally turned to face her crew. Every human on the station knew what was at stake. Their colonies, their trade routes, their place among the stars, all of it would be lost. But Elena saw something else in their eyes. Determination. "Send the response we prepared," she commanded. Full compliance with their terms. Surprised murmurs rippled through the command center. Elena allowed herself a small, grim smile. Let the Alliance think they had won. Let them think humanity would meekly accept exile while their evidence went unchallenged. They didn't know about the quantum transmission Admiral Santos had already sent to Earth's hidden shipyards throughout the solar system. A single phrase that would initiate humanity's contingency plan. Begin Project Nemesis. While the Alliance's ultimatum fleet maintained its threatening position, Elena's thoughts turned to the massive construction facilities buried within Mercury's hollow core, the antimatter reactors hidden beneath Europa's ice, and the revolutionary shield technology being perfected in the asteroid belt. The Alliance had made a critical mistake. They assumed humanity would either fight a hopeless battle now or accept permanent exile. They never considered that Earth might appear to submit, while secretly preparing for a day of reckoning. "Send word to all our off-world colonies," Elena ordered. "Begin immediate evacuation procedures. I want our people safe before we show the Alliance exactly what humanity is capable of." As the orders went out, Elena returned her gaze to the viewport. The Alliance ships hung there like dark stars, their weapon ports glowing with barely restrained energy. She allowed herself to imagine how those same ships would look in 6 months when humanity unveiled the fruits of Project Nemesis. "They think they're watching us retreat," she murmured. "They're actually watching us prepare for war." The next 24 hours saw a flurry of activity as humanity began its apparent withdrawal from galactic society. Ships streamed back to Sol from colonial outposts and trading stations. The Alliance supervised with smug satisfaction, never realizing that many of those ships carried more than just human refugees. Critical technology, vital resources, and key personnel were all making their way to predetermined positions throughout the solar system. Deep within her private quarters, Elena reviewed the latest progress reports from Project Nemesis. The quantum shield generators were exceeding all expectations. The new stealth systems made their ships virtually undetectable, and the antimatter-powered weapons platforms would give them the firepower to match any Alliance fleet. But their greatest advantage was one the Alliance would never suspect: humanity's unity in the face of adversity. There were no leaks, no betrayals, no breaking under pressure. Every human knew their role in the grand deception, from the highest admiral to the lowest maintenance worker. As the last human ships returned to Sol, Elena drafted a message to be broadcast throughout human space. "To all citizens of Earth and her colonies, the road ahead will be difficult. We must appear weak when we are strong, defeated when we are most determined. But remember this: humanity was not born among the stars. We clawed our way up from one gravity well, and we'll do it again. The Alliance thinks they're teaching us a lesson. Instead, they're about to learn one themselves. Never corner a species that turned its own planet's deadliest predator into its dominant civilization. The message went out encoded in standard commercial traffic, invisible to Alliance monitoring. As Alina prepared for bed that night, she allowed herself a moment of pride. The next 6 months would test humanity like never before, but she had absolute faith in their success. After all, humanity had a secret weapon the Alliance hadn't counted on: the burning desire to prove them wrong. Project Nemesis. The caverns of Mercury sang with the sound of construction. Deep beneath the planet's scarred surface, humanity's greatest engineering project was taking shape. Dr. Maya Chen wiped sweat from her brow as she studied the holographic readouts floating before her. The quantum core of humanity's new flagship pulsed with barely contained power. Power output is holding steady at 300% above theoretical maximum, she reported to the assembled engineering team. The containment field is stable. The quantum core represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, and their best-kept secret. While the Alliance believed they had humans confined to their solar system, they had no idea that humanity had cracked the code of quantum manipulation at a level that made their own technology look primitive. Captain David Walsh, the man chosen to command humanity's new flagship, stood at Maya's shoulder. Will it be enough? Maya's fingers danced through the holographic display, bringing up comparison charts. The Nemesis-class ships will be able to match an entire Alliance battle fleet. Their quantum cores don't just power the ships, they bend reality itself. The massive construction bay housed 3 nearly completed vessels. Each one represented a different aspect of humanity's response to Exile. The flagship, christened HS Prometheus, carried enough firepower to reduce a planet to slag. The HSS Shadow Walker incorporated stealth systems that made it virtually invisible to all known detection methods. And the HS Oracle contained enough quantum computing power to hack and control entire automated defense networks. But it was the 4th ship, still hidden behind sealed blast doors, that represented humanity's true ace in the hole. The HSS Nemesis itself, a vessel unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Santos is coming to inspect the Nemesis today, David said quietly. Word is the Alliance is getting suspicious about all the resources we're moving around the system. Maya nodded grimly. Let them wonder. By the time they figure it out, it'll be too late. The blast doors opened with a hiss of hydraulics, revealing Admiral Santos herself. She looked older than when the Exile began 6 months ago, but her eyes burned with the same determination. Dr. Chen, Captain Walsh, she greeted them. Show me what my faith in this project has bought us. Maya led them through the quantum core chamber, explaining the revolutionary systems that made the Nemesis possible. The quantum manipulation field that could turn enemy weapons against them. The reality warping drive that could cross the galaxy in days instead of weeks. The adaptive shield system that learned from every attack. It's not just a warship, Maya explained, pride evident in her voice. It's humanity's statement to the galaxy. They thought they could cage us in our own solar system. Instead, they gave us the time and motivation to leap a century ahead in development. Admiral Santos studied the massive vessel through the observation window. And the crew? Handpicked from every colony, David replied. The best pilots, engineers, and tactical officers humanity has to offer. They've been training in simulators for months. Every one of them lost something to the Exile. Every one of them is ready to show the Alliance exactly what humanity can do when backed into a corner. A warning klaxon suddenly blared through the facility. Maya rushed to a nearby console, her face paling as she read the incoming data. Alliance scout ships, she reported. They're doing deep scans of the inner system. They must have detected some of our quantum emissions. Admiral Santos' expression hardened. Then we're out of time for testing. How soon can the fleet be ready? Maya exchanged glances with David before answering. The Prometheus, Shadow Walker, and Oracle can launch within 48 hours. The Nemesis, 3 days minimum. "You have 24 hours," Santos ordered. "The Alliance is about to learn why you should never give your enemy time to prepare. Humanity isn't just going to break out of their cage. We're going to reshape the galaxy in our image." As the Admiral strode away, Maya turned back to her work with renewed urgency. Humanity had spent 6 months preparing for this moment. Now it was time to show the galaxy exactly what humanity could do when pushed too far. Deep in the quantum core, reality itself seemed to pulse with anticipation. The age of humanity's exile was about to end. The age of humanity's ascension was about to begin. The Ghost Fleet. The Alliance scout ships never saw what hit them. One moment they were conducting their scan of Mercury's orbit. The next, they found themselves disabled, their quantum cores cold and lifeless. As they drifted helplessly in space, the HSS Shadow Walker decloaked before them, its obsidian hull seeming to drink in the starlight. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the human strike ship Shadow Walker," the transmission cut through their emergency channels. "Consider this a demonstration of mercy." And a warning. In the Shadow Walker's command center, Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she watched the Alliance crews scrambling to restore power. The quantum disruption field had worked perfectly, just as Dr. Chen had promised. The Alliance's mighty warships were now little more than expensive space debris. Detection grid shows 3 Alliance battle groups responding to the distress call, her tactical officer reported. ETA 12 minutes. Sarah nodded, unconcerned. Plenty of time. Signal the Prometheus and Oracle. Execute Phase 2. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet began to move. The HSS Prometheus emerged from Jupiter's roiling storms, its weapons already charged. The Oracle appeared from behind Saturn's rings, its quantum computers reaching out to seize control of the Alliance's communication networks. And from Mercury's core, the HSS Nemesis rose like an avenging angel, its revolutionary quantum drive leaving ripples in reality itself. Admiral Santos watched from the Nemesis's command deck as the Alliance fleet arrived. Their formation was perfect, their numbers overwhelming. Under normal circumstances, this force could have subjugated an entire sector. These were not normal circumstances. "All ships, execute Quantum Strike Pattern Alpha," Santos ordered. "Show them what humanity has been working on during our exile." The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. The Shadow Walker's stealth systems let it slip past the Alliance's defenses, its disruption fields shutting down ship after ship. The Prometheus's weapons twisted space itself, turning the Alliance's own energy shields into destructive waves. The Oracle seized control of automated targeting systems, turning Alliance ships against each other. And the Nemesis proved why it was humanity's masterpiece. Its quantum manipulation field made it virtually invulnerable, while its reality-warping weapons ignored shields and armor as if they didn't exist. "Admiral," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving surrender signals from the Alliance flagship." Santos straightened in her command chair. "Open a channel." The holographic display showed High Marshal Vex Thor, his alien features twisted with a mixture of fear and rage. "What are you?" he demanded. "These technologies. They're impossible." "No," Santos replied calmly. "They're human. You gave us 6 months of isolation, thinking you were punishing us. Instead, you gave us exactly what we needed. Time to focus, motivation to innovate, and freedom from your regulatory oversight." She stood, addressing not just Vex Thor, but the entire Alliance communication network that the Oracle had seized control of. "Humanity is officially ending its exile. The false charges against us will be withdrawn. Our colonies will be restored. And the corrupt officials who engineered this situation will face justice. You can't dictate terms to the entire Alliance." Vex Thor sputtered. "We're not dictating," Santos corrected him. "We're negotiating. From a position of strength, you thought you could cage humanity in its own solar system. Instead, you forced us to become something far more dangerous, unified, focused, and thoroughly done with playing by your rules." As if to emphasize her point, The Nemesis's quantum field pulsed, temporarily phasing the ship out of normal spacetime. When it reappeared, it was directly alongside the Alliance flagship, close enough for Vexthor to see every detail of its advanced construction. "You have two choices," Santos continued. "Work with us to reform the Alliance into something truly equitable, or watch as we dismantle it piece by piece. We'll await your response. But don't take too long. Humanity's patience isn't what it used to be." Alliance of the Outcasts. The Drachnid ambassador's scales shimmered under the quantum lights of the Nemesis conference room. "So the rumors are true," she said, examining the holographic display of human quantum technology. "You've achieved what our scientists thought impossible." Dr. Maya Chen nodded. "The Alliance didn't just make enemies when they exiled us. They made a mistake." The Drachnids weren't alone. Representatives from a dozen species filled the conference room. The Valerians, cast out for their biological augmentations. The Quantum Collective, feared for their AI integration. The Nexus Nomads, whose crime was refusing to settle on Alliance-approved worlds. Admiral Santos surveyed the gathered outcasts. "The Alliance maintains power through division. They isolate species they can't control, label them as threats, and wait for them to wither away in exile." The Valerian delegate's augmented eyes wared. "But you didn't wither." "No," Santos confirmed. "We thrived. And now we're offering you the same opportunity. The human quantum technology would be shared, but not freely given. Each species would contribute their own unique advances. Drachnid biotech, Valerian cybernetics, the Quantum Collective's AI innovations. Together, they would forge something new." Captain Walsh activated a larger hologram showing Alliance space. "Their empire is vast, but fragile. They rely on quantum communications we can now disrupt, defense systems we can override, and trade routes we can interdict." A Nexus Nomad floated forward, their energy form pulsing with interest. "You're proposing more than an alliance. You're proposing a revolution." "We're proposing justice," Santos corrected. "The Alliance claims to represent galactic civilization, but they've exiled every species that challenges their definition of progress. It's time for change." The HSS Oracle had already infiltrated Alliance networks, revealing corruption at every level. The evidence was damning. Manufactured crises, staged incidents, deliberate manipulation of emerging civilizations. The gathered representatives watched as decades of Alliance deception unfolded before them. Their anger was palpable, but so was their hope. Humanity wasn't just offering revenge. They were offering a future. "We move in 3 days," Santos announced. "The Alliance believes they've contained us. They don't know about this meeting, or the fleets you've hidden in dark space, or the quantum cores we've already supplied to your engineers." Maya activated one final hologram, a blueprint for a new galactic order. "We're not destroying the Alliance. We're transforming it. Every species represented here will have a voice. Every technology will be evaluated on its merits, not its origin. Every world will choose its own path." The Drachnid ambassador rose. "The Drachnid Imperium stands with humanity." One by one, the other representatives pledged their support. Species that had been enemies now found common cause. Technologies that had been forbidden would now advance openly. As the meeting concluded, Santos received an urgent communication from the Shadow Walker. Alliance patrol fleets were mobilizing, responding to rumors of unauthorized gatherings in human space. "Let them come," she told her bridge crew. "They're about to learn that exile doesn't weaken the strong. It forces them to find others who are strong, and then it makes them stronger together." The Nemesis's quantum core pulsed, sending ripples through reality that would soon reshape the galaxy itself. The age of outcasts was ending. The age of unity was about to begin. Dawn of a new era. The Alliance Council chamber fell silent as Admiral Santos strode in, flanked by representatives of the formerly exiled species. The council members shifted uneasily in their seats, their earlier arrogance replaced by uncertainty. High Marshal Vexthor spoke first. "You dare breach Council security." We dare much more than that. Santos interrupted, nodding to Dr. Chen. Maya activated the quantum transmitter. Across Alliance space, every communication network, every quantum terminal, every information feed began broadcasting the truth. Decades of corruption exposed in an instant. The Oracle's eye had been thorough in its data collection. The HSS Nemesis hung in orbit above, its quantum field extending far enough to neutralize the entire planetary defense grid. But it wasn't alone. Ships from every exiled species had emerged from stealth, forming a fleet that dwarfed the Alliance's home guard. The old alliance ends today, Santos declared. A new covenant begins. Captain Walsh stepped forward, presenting the terms their coalition had drafted. Equal representation for all spacefaring species. Technological development unfettered by political agendas. True justice, enforced by ships carrying human quantum cores and crewed by members of every species. You would destroy everything we've built, one council member protested. No, the Drachnid ambassador countered. We're building something better. Something that serves all species, not just the privileged few. The vote was a formality. With their corruption exposed, their military neutralized, and their power base crumbling, the Council had no choice but to accept the new reality. The Alliance would be reformed, not destroyed. As the sun set on the Alliance capital world, Admiral Santos stood in the Nemesis observation deck, watching ships from a dozen species moving in harmony through the orbital lanes. Was it worth it? Maya asked, joining her. All the deception, the months of exile, the risks we took. Santos smiled. Look out there. Species that once feared each other now work together. Technology that was forbidden now advances openly. We didn't just break out of our cage. We shattered every cage in the galaxy. The quantum core hummed beneath their feet, a reminder of how far humanity had come. But it wasn't just human achievement they celebrated now. It was the achievement of all species who had refused to accept limitation, who had chosen to rise together rather than fall alone. Send word to Earth, Santos ordered. The exile is officially over, and something far greater has begun. The message that spread across human space wasn't just one of victory. It was a promise of a future where innovation wasn't feared, where strength came through unity, and where no species would ever again face exile for daring to advance. The stars themselves seemed brighter that night, as if they too celebrated the dawn of a new era. Humanity had not just reclaimed its place in the galaxy, it had helped forge a new galaxy, one worthy of every species' potential. End.